look like? Joining me now, Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs, a member of the Judiciary Committee, also the Freedom Caucus. Congressman, thanks for joining us. It really feels like, if you're paying attention to the tea leaves and listening closely, President Trump wants to cut a deal with for DACA, keep the DACA kids here, quote-unquote kids here in America, in return for perhaps funding his wall. I mean, that's what it seems like to me. What do you envision a final compromise looking like?
Well, actually, I'm not really hoping for a compromise, but I think you're right. I think that the fix is kind of in. I think that you might see a DACA extension. The Democrats want a permanent DREAM Act put in there. President Trump and people like me want to see the wall built. I want to see the wall built first before you tackle DACA. So I think the compromise you're going to see is a bunch of things like in-chain migration, the lottery diversity, immigration posture, as well as maybe do E-Verify nationwide, and they're going to try to do that for a short-term DACA extension, maybe 2 to 5 years. But my opinion is if you extend DACA 2 to 5 years, you've basically created a permanent program at that point.
And of course, on the political end of this, there's some Republicans who are worried that with amnesty, for lack of a different word, a better word, you can actually see a few states, even eventually Texas, become a blue state. I mean, is that a concern of yours, or is your concern steeped more in the idea that we should be in control of our borders?
Well, it's twofold. First of all, we should be in control of our borders. We promised we'd build the wall. You can't have a non-visceral conversation until you've built the wall and had a secure border. Then you could start talking about something else like DACA or whatever you want to talk about. But right now, you'd see it's all emotion. And Texas, states like Texas, maybe even Arizona, that are strongly border security, they voted for President Trump. We got a lot of middle-of-the-roaders that voted for President Trump because they believe in building that wall. And that's what they want to see. So you could be in some real trouble if you don't build that wall, take care of the border.
President Trump asked for the initial $18 billion. It's my hunch maybe Democrats come around to thinking, hey, let's give a little bit of cash, knowing that the entire wall won't be built. In the meantime, some sort of permanent amnesty-like solution on DACA. And you know, again, to your point, I think it's low-hanging fruit. Why not have a smarter immigration system based on merit? So then maybe this all happens. What does that do for the GOP? You have folks like Langford, Cornyn, Grassley, and others who also want to see some form of amnesty, I think, instead of sending them back to where they originated.
Well, I agree with you. I think that there's a significant number of people who want amnesty in the Republican Party, but that wasn't what we were elected to do. That's what's blowing my mind. We made a promise that we would build the wall, that we'd secure the border, and President Trump and others of us ran on opposition to the extension of the DACA program. But we're seeing a lot of confusion when we say DACA. People don't realize that's just basically a deferred action program.
Right.
And when I talk to DACA students, they don't want a DACA extension. They want the Clean Dream Act,
sure,
which is something different. I mean, and it's far more. It's the amnesty you mentioned that some of my colleagues want. And that's not really good for the country, nor is it good for future anti-immigration issues, and nor is it good for campaign promises. When you keep promises,
right,
people trust you and they want to keep you in there.
Congressman Andy Biggs, thank you very much. Appreciate every time you come on the show.